Hey, I'm William from the Zombie Star, and I finally found time to make a This Week in Comics. We just wrapped up our show that we did at the Collectors Expo. That was a lot of fun, and just want to take a little bit of time to say thank you for everyone who came out and saw us and, talked with us, nerded out with us for a bit. That was a lot of fun to do, and we're going to be trying doing that more often. But let's see what we've been reading this week in comics. This week we're catching up with Made in Korea. This is issue number 5 and issue number 6. Made in Korea continues the story of Jesse, an artificial intelligence android, if you will, that is given a super consciousness and is given by its creator to human of abilities and qualities. For 6 issues now, Made in Korea has been a very story-driven, kind of heavy drama that really deals with very human elements. One of the best things about it, and just deliberately ironic, is that it's being told through the eyes of an artificial intelligence as we see Jesse grow and deal with very human issues, being a youth, being an adolescent, and trying to really learn her place among humans. I kind of feel we're getting a mixture of like something like Short Circuit and even Wall-E, if they were like both rated R, as the content can be very sensitive and very controversial. A really interesting book, and if you're into like movies like that or stories like that, Made in Korea is a really fun read. The artwork is very consistent in kind of producing this very wholesome and very innocent look for many of its characters, all while telling a very dark and very tragic story of Jesse. But the artwork, I think, has been pivotal in kind of telling that story of this is the world that Jesse sees, and this is the world that she's trying to build for herself. And the artwork just really kind of drives that notion and really helps build the world as Jesse sees it. And I think the artwork really plays a very powerful role in that. This is Made in Korea, issue number 5, and here's issue number 6. I'm not picking up any variants for this, but this is a very kind of unique read, not going to be for everybody, but still a lot of fun to read. From Image Comics, Two Moons is back, issues number 6 and issues number 7. Really excited to be talking about Two Moons again, as issue number 5 ended conclusively, and I thought it was really just the end of the title of the run, and then Image Comics didn't produce a Two Moons for quite some time, kind of went on this hiatus. Me being so behind on my comic books, I did not realize that these had been released and kind of just they were magically just placed in my box, and really excited to be reading Two Moons again, as this is really one of my favorite play on time periods from Image Comics. Knowing now that issues 1 through 5 of Two Moons was kind of the first chapter of this saga, 6 and 7 is starting a new arc, still following our main character Virgil Morris, but well after the events of issues 1 through 5. I think it is important to note that Two Moons is inspired by actual historical events. Although I really appreciate how every issue, the creators really take time at the last few pages to kind of set the record straight and how their story differs from actual record. For instance, in this story, it refers to the Ghost War, which can sound similar to the actual fictional Ghost Dance of that time period, but the two are not related and is kind of derived to make this fictional story. It also takes time to note that the character Virgil Morris, who goes by Two Moons, is not inspired by the Two Moon of the Cheyenne, who's historically known to have fought at Little Bighorn and several other pivotal battles of the time period as well. This is a completely fictional story that really just draws inspiration from actual events. Issues 6 and 7 continue the story of Virgil Morris, although he's more aged, as the events of 6 and 7 are well after the first chapter, and he's really grown as a Pawnee shaman and starting to display some very supernatural abilities as he continues his war with the spiritual realm, and underlining and rising conflict alongside the actual conflict that is still raging across the land in this time period. As the physical conflict continues, Virgil finds himself in a position to warn others of a greater threat, a looming darkness that is attempting to just spread over the land. And it is only him and a few others that have actually seen this in physical creatures and monsters that appear and kind of take over humans and spill over into our reality. And it is only him that has these supernatural abilities to fight back. I can speak volumes about the artwork in Two Moons, as I feel it captures 1880, 1890s America beautifully. The scenery, the character models are beautifully put together. The drama, the action are just beautifully spread over these panels, just really putting you deep in this time period. This is Two Moons, issue number 6. Just look at that cover. And we're only getting, I was only able to get the standard covers, but I just think they are absolutely beautiful. Two Moons is back. Definitely going to be following this one closely for a lot of reasons. Two Moons is really awesome. This is an image themed This Week in Comics, as we're ending it off with Geiger issue number 6. This is bringing an end to the first chapter of the Geiger saga or series, as issue number 6 is really starting to plant seeds for a larger Geigerverse, if you will. I've been enjoying this, as it is an original story, an original superhero story from Image Comics, really just giving us a classic superhero against the forces of evil, and it's that simple. And it just reminds me and kind of give me the same vibes of the things I felt in the early 90s reading Spawn number 1 from Todd McFarlane. Still, Geiger is a very unique, well-made character that really has a strong personality and his own charm that has really made him a standout hero in only 6 issues. Geiger's setting is another element that makes this title stand apart from anything else, where this story is being told in this post-apocalyptic post-nuclear war America, where the country has just been devastated by nuclear war, and its surviving citizens have resorted and kind of are restricted to these makeshift towns and adopted more medieval ways of living that is really more savage and brutal, which really makes for a lot of confrontation for Geiger and from very just well-made and awesome colorful villains. The artwork has been absolutely brilliant in giving us this original hero, as I feel Geiger is a beautiful mashup of Spawn, Ghost Rider, and even Nightwing. The artwork has been consistent in delivering just the appropriate artwork for this very fast-paced and just adrenaline-fueled story. In only 6 issues, it captures just beautiful action and just some brutal classic damage that Geiger just delivers out to his many foes. Geiger, this is the end to chapter number 1 of this story, and as I said, I think it's really just going to blow up into this universe, and I really can't wait for that. And this is our only cover. And that'll be it for this week in comics, and I think I just need to accept the fact that I'm never going to catch up with weekly releases, as it is just too much stuff, and I'm just reading too much stuff. But everything I've talked about are some really awesome recommendations, some really awesome titles. Let me know what you're reading this week in comics, and don't forget to visit us at thezombiestar.com, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you guys for watching.